Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode in our career mode series with Brighton and Hove Albion. In this episode, I'm going to be going ahead and showing you how the second leg against Porto has fared. We'll be reaching the quarterfinals of the Champions League or not. You'll find that out today. Also, there's a moment of magic on Ronaldo's return when he comes into the team later on for the final game. And we also then take on West Ham United too. So there's a lot to look forward to. I thought I'd show you the little snippet right at the beginning of the episode there that you just saw, which was the teams currently available to us should we wish to move on. We are going to be moving, of course, at the end of this season to a different league, to a different team, to somewhere else, to try our hand in management elsewhere. So I was looking around just to see what teams are sort of available. I keep sort of doing this just to see what kind of teams we might be looking at. Right now in the French league, there is PSG and Monaco, the two that keep popping up. In the Spanish league, there was Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, these type of teams. And then in the Italian league, which I've seen pop up a couple of times so far from there was only actually Juventus who's popped up. There was nobody else. So personally, I don't think we'll be going from Brighton to a guaranteed title winning side. I'm just not about that life. So wherever we end up going come the end of the season, I want it to be a little bit of a test for us. So we'll keep looking at the jobs just to make sure there's still jobs available to us when we get towards the back end of the season. And then we'll make our judgment, of course. I will update you guys on whatever happens regarding that situation. However, we're going to be going into this first game right now against FC Porto. 1-0 in front after the first game in Portugal, having got one away goal to our name. They very nearly cancelled that out after 6 minutes. Varys going through, and a phenomenal save from our number one, our skipper. Big Frankie Brown stops them from scoring what would have been a vital goal for Porto, because if they'd have got that inside 7 minutes, that would have made it a very nervy attempt here. So we had to really give our goalkeeper a lot of credit for the save he made. But then Ollie Watkins found Mario Balotelli, and he would curl us in front after 24 minutes. Got to say as well, the team we named for this game, it wasn't the strongest. The reason for that is because I had a lot of fitness issues regarding a few players. I mentioned this earlier on in the Road to Glory career mode, but the fixtures, the way they work in this game, are still so broken. Again, I know I'm going to keep saying this, but it really is a bit stupid when you play as many games in quick succession as you do at times. Like, I've had games where I'm playing a game, then 2 days later playing another game, and then the exact day later playing another game. So fixture lists are a little bit an issue, but we just have to really, make sure we've got depth in the side and such, and make sure we have players to play. So it wasn't the worst side in the world, but the magnitude of the game we were in, it would have been nicer to have named our full-strength side, and it would have made me feel a lot better about things and a lot more assured on us going through. But at 1-0, I felt pretty confident. We'd have to concede twice, in effect, for us to go out here, and we didn't even concede once. So we defensively were sound in the game. But I would have liked to think, if we are to go on and win this Champions League, which is our ambition for this season, we should be able to defend against FC Porto. Without disrespecting them too much, they are one of the more simpler games that we're going to have in terms of this Champions League run. From here on out, it's going to get more tougher. So obviously they were tough, but it wasn't as tough as things are going to get. So I would have liked to think we'd be able to do it. So confidence assured, we get ourselves through to the next round. We're waiting to see who's going to be awaiting us in that quarterfinals, and the draw will come up in just a moment's time for you. But until then, we were taking on Palace in the league. It was a return to the side for Virgil van Dijk as well. You can see him right there playing at centre-back. He was back from his injury. He's been out for a little bit of time now, and we've missed him. We really have. I mean, there's a few players we've missed, especially C-Ron. Having Ronaldo in your team and having that injured isn't ideal. Missed him for the last 8 weeks or so. And there was actually a comment on the last episode asking why we weren't playing him, and that's the reason why. I did mention it throughout the episode, but just in case you didn't hear that bit, Ronaldo has been out injured for the last 8 weeks, so that's why he wasn't playing. So he's back today. We'll make a return in the final game, as I said to you earlier. But that is how the league table looked. With 10 games to go, we were 10 points clear of second place Spurs. So things were going very well. I mean, I was looking at this thinking to myself, I'm quite happy with the way things have gone. But the more important thing now was to see who we'd pull in the Champions League. There was teams I wanted to avoid. And bizarrely, it's the team who knocked us out at the Champions League last season. Manchester United. It feels like we're playing them so many times. I'm not going to lie. Monaco face off against Barcelona. Spurs will play PSG. FC Bayern will face off against Juve. And we will play against Manchester United. So an all-English tie for us. I would have liked Man United a bit later on. Not right now, because as you guys know, they are my bogey team. So things are going to be very interesting come that game. I'm looking forward to it, but also I'm a bit nervous as well, because I know that this is going to go one of two ways. Either we're going to play really well and get through, or we're still going to play really well and get unlucky and get knocked out like we did last year. So no saltiness whatsoever in that situation. But like I said, if we want to get to the far end, if we want to reach the final, you have to beat the best. And Man United knocked us out last year, so they're certainly up there in terms of the best. So we'll be looking forward to that next episode, because for now, all we have to do is keep winning our games in the Premier League to secure ourselves a Premier League title for the second time. I would like, of course, the Premier League title. If we could do the treble this year before we leave and go on to bigger things, I wouldn't say better things because I'm not sure if it will be better, but let's say bigger things, then things will be very good here. So against West Ham, I was just feeling to myself, you know what, if we get the win, we'll keep our 10 points at least at the top of the table, and we're one game closer to winning the league title. We took the lead after 3 minutes. It was a really good finish for Vinicius Jr., although he did somewhat miss-hit this. You'll see it from this angle in a moment. The I guess, ferocious pass in from Martial. He put a lot of power behind it. Found its way, and you can see, I wasn't really sure about the finish from Vinicius Jr. with the outside of the boot. But, I mean, he knew what he was doing, question mark. So, I'll let him off with that situation and just say well done to him for giving us the lead. And things, again, were just going so well. We were battering West Ham. We really were. Our wingers caused no end of problems. Vinicius Jr. on one side, Martial on the other. Get ourselves a penalty kick here. Dalbert sliding in, completely missing his tackle. We put the cross in. We didn't win it, and the referee points to the spot. It's a silly challenge to make in your penalty area, especially when you've got the likes of Vinicius Jr. running at you. He's so fast. He's so quick. He just does the bits. It's difficult to really contend with him. And that was what Dalbert found out. So, from the spot, we had the chance to make it 2-0. Up stepped Anthony Martial, and Anthony Martial sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, making it 2-0 Brighton, and pretty much for me securing our points. I felt really confident we were going to take the win from this one. Even more so when after 30 or so minutes, Moise Kean did this. Now, I'm going to be showing you something right here, and this is something that I think we need to have a little chat about, and that is these time finesse shots. I know they are so ridiculous, but I looked at the stats of Moise Kean, right? 70 for long shots. His curve is somewhere in this, I think it was 68. So for a player of his caliber, to be able to pick up the ball on the edge of the area and finesse it into the top corner, is it really, you know, I'm not going to use the word fair, but is it really going to happen? Like, I know a lot of people have said that they need patching, and I was on the assumption, I was in that part of me that knew they needed patching, right? But don't want them to get patched because of how good they actually are. But having seen this goal right here, I think I've drawn the line. I think I now understand where people are coming from. To be brutally honest, a player with 68 curve and 70 long shots shouldn't really be smashing it in from there. So for me, I think they do need patching. Hopefully EA will sort it out. I mean, it's going to make the game more tough for me because obviously I'm not that great when it comes to actually scoring. Finesse shots, time finesse shots were the way that I was able to find the back of the net. And we should have been 4-0 up. We were 4-0 up. Moise Kean for the second time in the game as he managed to scramble it home. But yeah, finesse shots, I'm expecting that they will be patched. I think they've already had a couple of things done to them, but they're still so broken, man. Feels like FIFA 11 days. If you guys remember back to those days, finesse shots, man. I'm expecting them. I'm expecting them to get toned down a lot in that one. So maybe it's going to feel like an entirety different game. Maybe I'll go to getting slapped whenever we go to a new side. But still 4-0 up in the game. We were battering them. Nearly gave a goal away. I was a bit frustrated with Frankie Brown here. It came from a header. And I feel as though he shouldn't have had any problems with this one. He just dived super late. Causes himself a bit more of an issue than he needed to. I'm not sure why he was so angry as well with that situation. But yeah, from the corner it gets put in. Frank goes up. Easy catches. And that secured ourselves the 4-0 win. So that 10-point gap that we had at the top of the table continues. We were running away with things. Spurs struggling to keep with us at this current time. And I think that's going to be the same outcome given the circumstances because we are pretty much on top form. We only had 5 shots there, 3 on target, and we scored 4 of them. That Moise Kean effort was the one that didn't count on target, for you guys wondering at home, as it did hit the woodwork. But then we took on Leicester, and we had same side pretty much that played in that last one. Still waiting on Ronaldo's return. He was on the bench for this one against Leicester. And Moise Kean scored not for the first time, as he continued his good goal-scoring form, before Rabiot scored an 80th minute winner for us, because we actually ended up being 1-1 after Iheanacho pulled it back. So another win there in that game against Leicester. And we end today's episode off with an away trip to St James's Park to take on Newcastle, who are in the bottom half of the table. So this should be another 3 points and getting us that one step closer to our second Premier League title with this Brighton side. Should be being the key word from this game. You know what I'm saying, guys? I've used this too often, and I'm going to say right now, you know, these one-shot wonders, yep, you're going to see it again. I'm just saying. So we got ourselves into game. You can see the two teams as they came up. There was no place in the side for Ronaldo. It was Moise Kean who started, but he was on the bench, even though he is waiting his return to the side. And that is why the title of today's episode, features him alone, because you guys are about to see something quite spectacular. We had the early chances. 8 minutes in, Mario Lemina scores to give us the lead here. This is why I purchased him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. If you're looking for a cheap centre midfielder, Lemina is your man. He is sensational. I just think overall he's got everything you need as a centre midfielder. He can strike him from distance. He has the ability to defend. Just one of those players that's well-rounded, and that's why I like him. I've picked him up in all my team a couple of times, and that's why I brought him here. It's a good finish. Really, really good finish. But then, with 45 minutes on the clock, we could have taken a second one. Moise Kean trying the finesse shot again. This time gets it wrong, puts it wide of the post, and is unable to find the second goal. But we were pressuring. We looked the better side, and Newcastle were struggling to contain our attacking threat. We then made a change. As you can see right here, C-Ron comes back into the team for his return to Brighton and Hove Albion action. Still 88 rated, even with the injury he had. Still able to be that high-rated player that we lost previously. And then defensively, this is where I need to improve. This is completely my fault. I've got nothing against this. Newcastle, fair play. I dove in far too easily. I think it was Kera was the man to try and make the tackle. And in the end, we dove in, gave them a little bit of space. They took full advantage of it and managed to equalise with their first shot on goal. So we were made to pay in many ways. Ramiro started in net today. That was because we did have the test against Man United to come, which was 4 days later, I think, after this game. So, yeah, we had to start with Ramiro in goal, not Brown, because we couldn't, unfortunately, use him, especially with the way the fitness issues go. Ronaldo very nearly getting a goal on his return. You can see, headed that one onto the top of the crossbar. Felt really angry after that. I was like, you've got to be joking me, blah, 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 blah. But then I kept my cool. Andreas Pereira found Phil Foden. Foden found Gordson. We were just trying to find a shooting opportunity, to be brutally honest. Lemina lays it out wide to Ali Reza. Reza puts delivery in. And in typical C-Ron fashion, he scores an overhead kick. My first ever in FIFA 19. I have scored them in the past FIFAs, but this is the first one I've scored in FIFA 19. There was a time when overhead kicks were just stupidly broken. They patched them. I never got one. But now I can say I'm part of the overhead kick club, because C-Ron, on a moment of sheer brilliance on his return, gets us the second goal, puts us back in the lead, and it's a typical C-Ron finish, isn't it? You guys remember the one he scored in the Champions League last season, was it? Or the season before, something like that. He obviously leapt really, really well in that game and scored an overhead kick that was just ridiculous. I mean, that right there is up there with the top goals we've scored in this series so far. If that doesn't make it into the top 10 goals of the series come the end of this series, I don't know what will, because that was just brilliant. And it just so happens it was well worthy of winning us the game. We get ourselves the 3 points. I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing after that one. And I just had to see Ron to thank for it. One more look at this crazy overhead kick as we see it in all its glory again. 10 minutes from time. The ball in from Ali Reza. It's just quality from C-Ron. And I'm so glad to have him back, especially with that Man United game looming next episode. As he came on from the bench, I think he should be okay to play in that one. I don't think he'll have any fitness issues, C-Ron. So he should be okay for that game. And we've actually already knocked them out as well in a double leg header this season on our way to the Carabao Cup final win. So it is possible. We can do it. We've shown we can do that. It's just about trying to make sure it happens next episode. So with 7 games to go in the league, we found ourselves 13 points clear of Spurs in second place. I think we are pretty much champions-elect. But that's going to be it for now, guys. I will see you all for that double leg header against Manchester United in the next episode. Hopefully we will not be knocked out of the Champions League this time. And that's all good stuff. Come the end of the season, we will be moving as well to a new team. I can't wait for that. It should be quite interesting to see who we go to. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I'll catch you all for that next episode in the coming days. If you're not already subscribed and like what you see, that's down below. I'll catch you again soon. Adios.